So everybody knows by now that we are getting characters returning from past Mario Kart games, and Nintendo's even made it clear that these are characters coming from the past, so it doesn't look like we'll be getting any new characters. Or will we? Well, of course, Nintendo has done a lot of stuff to say that something was going to happen and it never happened the way they wanted it to. For instance, we're supposed to be getting nothing but older tracks, meanwhile we're getting new ones as well, and they also said we wouldn't be getting characters. Now we're getting characters, so the possibilities are endless at this point for what Nintendo can decide to do at the last second. And somebody pointed out something pretty interesting. In the last row, there always seems to be characters that are not from the Mario universe. For instance, in the last row, we have Girl Inkling, Boy Inkling, we have Link, we have Boy Villager, Girl Villager, and Isabelle, plus a Me/Amiibo button. People began to speculate that maybe the last DLC character we get is actually going to be a character that's not from the Mario games, which I think would make some people happy and some people upset, because it would still be cutting out a character that many people still really want to see in this game. But who would that character be? Well, I have a big list of characters for you guys today, and I'm going to talk about why Nintendo could actually add a different character outside of the Mario franchise. I'll be going through each character, talking about what their weight class would be and how likely the character will be in this game out of 10. How in the world is Captain Falcon not in this game? It just doesn't make sense. He has not one but 2 tracks, a cart for the Blue Falcon, and even a Mii costume where you can actually make your character kind of look like Captain Falcon. But at the same time, how is the actual Captain Falcon not in this game? I really still don't know, and I feel like if Nintendo is going to add characters outside the Mario universe, I feel like this character is at the top of the list and deserves it probably the most. I'd say right now, if this happened, it would probably be like a 9.5 out of 10, because this character just has so much already built into this game. But I think this character could be a heavyweight character. He's a bigger, more humanoid character compared to the rest of the Nintendo cast. And I just feel like this character deserves it. You know, there's so many tracks dedicated to this person and to this franchise. Bring back F-Zero slightly by at least putting Captain Falcon in Mario Kart, please. Next up, of course, we gotta have Kirby. Kirby is just one of those big IPs for Nintendo, and he's making his way all the way up the roster to be one of the biggest, which is so great. There's so many Kirby games on the Switch, and Kirby's really making a name for himself now, and I feel like he's just one of those characters that everybody is starting to realize and everybody is starting to know, like throughout the entire video game world. I love Kirby so much, and I think he would just be a cute new addition to the roster, and of course, Kirby would 100% be a very light character. I'm saying if Nintendo did go with a character outside the Mario universe, Kirby would probably be a 9 out of 10 for a choice. Next up, we have Olimar. I think Olimar would be really cool. He'd be a very light character if it's based on the games, and maybe even have his Pikmin as optional drivers or something could be awesome as well. The question is, does Olimar spark enough interest for people? Because the game is still a little bit niche, as there's only a couple of games in the franchise, and Pikmin 4 is coming, so it is a possibility. But, you know, Olimar is actually a Mii skin right now in the game, and so I think there is a chance. I'd say Olimar would have about a 6 out of 10 chance to be in this game. Like I said, if he does have different color Pikmin alts, that would be so awesome as well. Next up, we have Fox. Fox is just kind of that character that's appearing in like the big party games where everybody's in it. Not really his own games, unfortunately. But yeah, he's in Smash Brothers. Would he appear in Mario Kart? There's a chance. He also has a Mii costume. But at the same time, Star Fox has been pretty irrelevant, especially on the Nintendo Switch. There really hasn't been any Star Fox. So I would put it slightly lower than Olimar, even though I think a lot of people would love to see different members of the Star Fox crew. Imagine if you could actually choose between Fox, Falco, Slippy, and Peppy. That would be a really cool thing, or maybe even Wolf in there, and maybe part of Wolf's team. But I think Wolf would probably be in the light category, and I'd say probably around 4 or 5 out of 10, simply due to the fact that there's not been really any Star Fox games to point out relevance lately. Next up, we have Rob, and this one is a very interesting one, because at one glance, you might be like, why in the world would Rob be in Mario Kart? Well, it's because he's already been in Mario Kart. If you didn't know, Rob was actually a playable character on Mario Kart DS for some reason, and has never returned. This would be a perfect excuse, I think, for Nintendo to add a character outside of the Mario universe in that last slot, and technically still fill the criteria of adding characters from past games, because this is one of the only opportunities we've ever had to play with a non-Mario character, besides obviously entering Mario Kart 8. So this would be a really interesting one. I don't know what people would think. I don't know if there's a lot of Rob fans out there, but it definitely would be interesting nevertheless. And I think there is a pretty good chance. This character would be a heavyweight, and it would probably probably go around 9.5 again, just due to the fact that Rob has been in the past game, and it would be an easy addition for Nintendo. This one's actually very exciting to say out loud, because the fact that Metroid is kind of having this big revival starting on the Nintendo Switch is a beautiful, and I mean beautiful, thing. So I would love to see Samus continue this by appearing in Mario Kart. I think this would be a really good choice as well. How would she drive with her arm cannon on one arm? I don't know, but that's for Nintendo to figure out and worry about, because who cares? At the end of the day, there are babies racing, so this is not the biggest problem for Samus, and maybe she just puts her arm cannon away and just uses a regular arm for just Mario Kart. I don't care. This would be awesome. Put Samus in Mario Kart. I don't have any other reason why. Just put Samus in. I mean, obviously Metroid Prime 4 is coming. We just got Prime Remastered. There was Dread. Come on, put Samus in the game. But I think Samus would be a medium heavyweight, and I think Samus would probably be around a 7 out of 10, believe it or not. Pit falls in a very similar category to Star Fox, and I just don't think there is a very high chance. I had to put him in here because, come on, it's Pit. We all love Pit. We love Kid Icarus, and we're begging for another game. But until that other game comes, and until Kid Icarus starts to revive again, I just don't see this being a possibility. But of course, I had to include him. I had to include my boy Pit. I had to put him in there. But yes, if Pit was in this game, I'd say he would probably be a medium weight character, but there's only like a 2 out of 10 chance of this happening. Next up, we have Pikachu. We have to get some Pokemon references, right? I think Pikachu would be a perfect addition. Pikachu would be a very light character, and a character that almost everybody can relate with, but it's up to Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, and that's the only issue with me putting it super high on the likelihood, because we know how that works. Outside of Smash Brothers, it seems like the Pokemon Company and Nintendo just do not get along, where a lot of the times they just don't reference Pokemon that much. I mean, you can literally take Yoshi's Woolly World, for instance, where the amiibo scans of the Pokemon just gave Yoshi a t-shirt that said amiibo. So yeah, that's my point. With that said, I think it just makes sense to be a perfect addition, but will it happen? I'm saying there's about an 8 out of 10 chance. So unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any mods for this character right now, which is weird, but we have Princess Ruto for some reason, so yeah, that's the gameplay for this segment. But Princess Zelda, like, this one to me makes a whole lot of sense as well. We have characters from multiple different games in multiple characters within those games. For instance, we have 2 versions of Inkling, 2 versions of Villager, we even have Isabelle in there, so why not have 2 characters from The Legend of Zelda, like Link and Zelda? It just makes sense. I really don't know how Zelda didn't make the cut for this game, but it would make sense because she could ride the Master Cycle Zero, which is a cart in this game, and we see her ride it and actually use it as a weapon in Age of Calamity, Hyrule Warriors. So I don't know how this character isn't in this game. If Nintendo was going to add another character, I think Zelda has another really high chance. I'd say a 9 out of 10 because it just makes sense. There's a Hyrule Castle circuit in this game, but there's no Zelda, which just sounds weird to me. So come on, Nintendo, put Zelda in. Also, if she had a weight class, it would probably be medium. Once again, we have no mods of this character, but I said Marth/Lucina. One of these characters would be really cool to represent the Fire Emblem franchise. It's growing a lot to the point where we can expect a new Fire Emblem game, it seems like every 2 to 3 years now, which is pretty crazy, but this series has grown. And thanks to Smash Brothers, I think it's a big reason why. And there's a lot of Fire Emblem characters in Smash Brothers, for the good or for the worse. What are the odds of Nintendo adding a Fire Emblem character if they were to add new ones? Not likely. I'm sorry. I just don't see it really happening right here. This would be something that would probably happen in a Nintendo Kart, not really in Mario Kart, unfortunately. Sorry, Fire Emblem fans. It's just probably not going to happen. So, at the end of the day, Marth/Lucina would probably be in the medium class, and I'd say there's only about a 3 or 4 out of 10 chance of them appearing here. What about Wii Fit Trainer? At first glance, you'd probably say absolutely no way, but it's such a weird character, it kind of almost in a way makes sense, because Wii Fit was just such a huge game for Nintendo. Maybe they want to represent it again, the same way they did in Smash Brothers. The odds? Probably not going to happen. I'd say it's once again down there very low, around 3 or maybe even 2 out of 10, but I'd say if they were going to have a weight class, it'd probably be light because they're in shape and, you know, very fit. I don't know. That's just me kind of speculating. Wii Fit, I don't know. Next up, we have Ness from Earthbound. Once again, I do not have any mod footage of this character, but I believe this character would be very light, and the odds, I don't know, not probably very high because Earthbound is still weird. They're not really releasing any remakes or new games in this franchise, so it seems very dormant. So the only time I think we're gonna really see this character is Smash Brothers. So unfortunately, I don't think there's a very high chance we'd see our boy Ness or maybe even Lucas, which is still sad. Until there's like a Nintendo Kart, not a chance. I'd say there's probably about a 1 or a 2 out of 10 chance here. I love my boy Little Mac, and I would love to see him appear in this game. It seems like one of those characters that would, in a weird way, appear in this game. I can't explain why I say that, but in some weird way, I can see Little Mac making a random appearance. I mean, of course, Punch-Out has been pretty quiet. We got a game on the Wii, but overall, it's still a kind of quiet franchise, but I think it's more likely than what people would initially think. Of course, with Little Mac being little, he would be in the light class, and I'd say he's got about a 3 out of 10 chance to be in this game. Next up, we have King K. Rool, the villain of the Donkey Kong franchise. Now, we've actually seen K. Rool appear in some Mario-specific franchises, such as Mario Baseball, Super Sluggers, so I wouldn't take it out of the realm of possibility for this character to make an appearance here. And since Donkey Kong is kind of within the realm of Mario, I think this one has a pretty good chance, and K. Rool just makes a lot of sense. I mean, shoot, we've had Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, we even have Dixie Kong within Mario Kart Tour, and shoot, we've even had Funky Kong. So for crying out loud, would it be that crazy to expect King K. Rool, the villain of all those Kongs? I think it makes a lot of sense, and I'd say if Nintendo decided to do something like this, it'd be a high chance. I'd say almost around a 7, 7.5 out of 10. Next, we enter with some characters that are third party, not even within the realm of Nintendo. So some of these characters, well really all these characters, probably have almost negative chance to appear in Mario Kart, but the ranking will be based on if they did have the chance, how likely would this individual character be likely to get in. So first off, we have PacMan, and PacMan actually probably has a good chance, and let me tell you why. Because there is an arcade version of Mario Kart where PacMan is actually in the game and so are the Ghosts. So maybe Nintendo wants to make a crossover tie-in where they actually bring PacMan into the game. Now, it's unclear if Nintendo actually sees the Mario Kart arcade games as actual Mario Karts, because if they do, there is a chance that PacMan could actually be in this game. Yeah, that's actually a really good chance because Nintendo can use that as a way to bring in technically a past character and also a third-party character, which would be awesome. I would love it. I love PacMan, and I love the design of PacMan, so I'd say PacMan would be a medium weight class, and I think the opportunity and chance could be around a 6.5 out of 10. You know what? Shoot, PacMan even has a Mii costume in this game. You know what? Let's bump it up. I'd say there's a 7 out of 10. Next up, we have your boy Sonic, where I feel like Sonic has a chance because he just appears wherever he wants sometimes. He had that crossover with Yoshi and even with Zelda in Sonic Lost World, which was a little strange, but cool. Then you had Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games for so many years now. I think there's a chance that maybe Sonic would join Mario in Mario Kart. He's in Smash Brothers. He even has a Mii costume, so I think the opportunity and potential is there. I would love a Green Hill Zone track to go with it, even though it doesn't seem like Nintendo would do that right now, but I'd say there is a decent chance that Sonic could appear within Mario Kart if they were to add a third-party character in the first place. I think he'd be in the lightweight class, and he would be very, very close to being up there. I'd say around a 6 out of 10. And finally, I had to throw Mega Man in there because he's one of the last Mii costumes left as well. And Mega Man is a weird one. I don't know how Mega Man even got a Mii costume in this game, to be honest with you. So I don't really know where to put Mega Man here. I mean, there is a chance, kind of maybe, just because there is relations because of Smash Brothers and stuff. So I don't know. I'd say probably Mega Man would be medium heavy considering the fact that he's part robot, or really a whole robot. But at the end of the day, I think the chance and likelihood for Mega Man appearing is pretty low. I'd say around a 3 out of 10. So if I had 6 slots to fill in with extra characters outside the Mario universe, I would have Captain Falcon, Kirby, Rob, Pikachu, Zelda, and PacMan. I think those make the most sense, and I think those would be some really fun characters for people. But if I had to choose just one character to be in the current wave of characters coming, it would probably be between Kirby and Rob. Rob makes a lot of sense because he's a returning character technically, but Kirby just makes the most sense out of just a brand new character. So I would love to see any of those. I think those would be great. But those are my picks for characters outside the Mario franchise. Let me know who you would pick and if you agree or disagree with my list. And if you love videos like this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Mario Kart and all things Nintendo in general. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.